Well, welcome. Latest unboxing here, and we're going to go through what's to be my latest upgrade for my MFP pistols. So let's go ahead and get this all out. Okay. And what we have here, a couple pair of Holosun. Yep, 507Ks. X2 ACSS reticles. Felt like doing something special here. Yep, these are green dot. This is something special for the MMPs. Upgraded from retrospectively. At least at one time, they both had Romeo zeros on them. I did put a Swamp Fox optic, but I since transferred that to my Glock slide. That's just my packing slip. And another sticker from AR15discounts.com. And another 15% off. Thank you. No, that's probably not going to be used, to be honest. So I'm done buying stuff right now. All right. So at least from there, let's open it up. If you want to see different sides of the box before I do, be my guest. Let's just read through it real quick. Switchable between dot and full ACSS Vulcan dot reticle. 1632 battery, which I do have plenty of, so that's a big plus. Same goes for my Vortex top battery mounted optic, but the Swamp Foxes are bottom mounted, but they have 2032, so they tend to do very well so far in their battery life. And I believe just about everything I'm running right now, maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure all of it is 3 MOA green dots, which is why I chose this one as well. So let's just go ahead and keep going here. Even though, to be honest, I was very tempted to go with the circle dot reticle, or at least the 32 MOA dot with the 2 MOA dot Holosuns. But this felt like something more special, and I guess this is supposed to be in collaboration with Primary Arms. So some very interesting packaging compared to what I'm used to before, and yeah, not sure if this is just form fitted or might be just form fitted. It almost feels magnetic in a way, but probably not. But this is a pretty fancy little case. Almost makes me feel like they're trying to propose or something. So, given the price that I paid for it, it might as well be a proposal, which was 320 bones ish. Yeah. So we could go through activating the warranty on this card. So we will do that in just a moment. Okay, both were packaged the same. So I'll get to that warranty off screen. So we have here your user manual. Just gonna flip through it real quick because this is a lot thinner than the Vortex Defender manual, which was a lot thicker. But I'll also just read through it real quick. Again, associated with Primary Arms, and it's probably because of their technology being used here for the Vulcan dot reticle, which is a 3 MOA dot surrounded by a 230 MOA circle. And then that could be deactivated by pressing the, might be the power down, not power down, excuse me, the, I guess, minus sign. I'm holding that down for 3 seconds to switch. And then just goes quickly in how to use the reticle and the benefit of the curve and knowing how to shift, especially during duress. And of course, the Holosun lifetime warranty, limited lifetime warranty. So now we have the user manual under Holosun, under plastic cover. Got 2 things here. The 4 rules of firearm safety. Not too sure if I've seen this plenty of times with other optics, but pretty cool. Treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Never let your muzzle cover anything that you're not willing to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until your sight's on target, and be sure of your target and what's behind it. I like to use some of the modified versions that I could try to recall from Active Self-Protection, to at least the main ones I can remember off the top of my head. Be sure of your target and what surrounds it, as if something else is coming into line. And instead of just your muzzle cover, anything you're not willing to destroy, you point it in the direction of least consequence, right? And then your warning about batteries. Pretty much, that's the gist of it. Being careful around batteries. And if you're familiar with the lessons from, I think that person had used some either super cheap or secondhand batteries from China with his O-sight light. That's a wild read. I encourage it. So the Holosun user manual. Well, right setup. Let's see what we have here. So thank you for purchasing. You got your notices on watching out for how you handle your weapon. Okay. Going through some redundant information over here, but one of the big ones is properly putting on or removing the battery tray and inserting the battery. Okay. And make sure the positive side is down. Okay. And your installation on the slide. 15-inch pounds on blue thread locker. Your general sight operation, your sleep times, and maintenance and limited warranty. Okay. And talking generally about the brightness levels. So nothing too crazy here. So you got your silica gel packet there. And cleaning cloth. So everything is so far being mirrored exactly 1-to-1. There's nothing missing here. So here's your multi-tool. A lot smaller than the one from the Vortex one, but similar profile, if you will, but just a lot smaller. And we have our screws over here. Got the 6x32, which tends to be used most often in my application. The print is really small on these. I will say Vortex did a better job handling that I could tell so far. Here's your M4 screws, and here's kind of a presentation here on it. Yeah, 9.8 millimeters in length, I believe, and here's the typical M3 screws. I think on my application, probably the 6x32 is going to be used. And, oh, sorry, should have mentioned too, you only get 2 of these in comparison to Vortex, which gives you 4. So, something to be said there. Yeah. We'll just go from here. And at least I would have preferred for these to be in the packets that you could kind of just seal back together. But I'm not going to go too hard on it. So a little bit of some good, some like kind of like, I'm going to call it iffy choices, but kind of different in how they package things. So here's kind of the inside here, and of course let's just get to the reticle itself. So I know one big thing that people often neglect to see is the K cut. So this is going to end up matching what I have on my plate here. So there you go. With just the 2 lugs over here instead of the ones on the back, as compared to the RMSC cut. Okay. So here's a good look at it here. So let's see if it turns on immediately. Although I'm looking at the glass and looks really good. Can't really say right now objectively like it's better than like as far as the glass clarity goes, that is like supremely better than my other optics I'm running right now, as far as the Swamp Fox and the Vortex. But the reticle, that's one thing I will give Holosun, is that the reticle technology that they use is pretty awesome, and it turned on immediately. So here you can see it. I know some people had an issue to take with it being not exactly the, what is it called, the Vulcan reticle. I don't find that super necessary for a carry optic, but I do like how bright it is, and at least to my eye, I can immediately tell like where to lock in on, which is exactly why I got it. So like even when it's off, you can always bring it back to center, and like even when I'm directing it here towards yourself, now if, like I can tell immediately from the ring where to sensitive, where to angle it, I should say. So this is something I can find super beneficial in one-hand shooting or in like highly stressful situations, which is exactly why I got it. Not that I necessarily believe that it should go on as a replacement for every other optic that I have, but if you end up having a plate that is designed for the K footprint, I'm gonna say go for it. And at least at this point right now, well, let me make sure the other one turns on as well. I'm just going to go ahead and skip straight to mounting. Okay. Interesting. Or at least immediately, this one is not turning on that I could tell. I mean, I may need to check to make sure that the battery was lined up correctly. So let's go ahead and check the tray. So excuse me here. I do hear good things about Holosun's warranty, but hopefully did not want to experience it this soon. Okay, so here's your battery. Hopefully you can see it without me dropping it. Let me make sure it's the correct size. Yeah, that's 1632. Is it positive side down? Yep, it is positive side down. Okay. So let's get that back in. I would say the fit and fitment seems pretty good overall. And it does feel like a higher quality, like a smoother texture, for lack of a better word, on the housing compared to my other optics, including the Vortex. So that money did go somewhere. Okay. Should be tight enough there. Let's give it a try. So yeah, still not turning on. Interesting, huh? So let me go ahead and take this out again. I'm going to switch it out with one of the batteries that I have, a 1632 that I already own. And we'll see if that works. If not, you'll see in real time that it might be only the second time I've ever had an issue with a product that I found immediately on the channel. So just give me 1 sec. All right, so immediately I can tell you that as soon as I swapped the battery with one of the batteries that I already own, it immediately turned on. So it seems like the Panasonic that it shipped with was dead. So there goes that. So I'm not gonna make a big stink about that. It probably would be the responsible owner type of thing to do to go ahead and. Oh, let me make sure first I didn't switch which one it was. Okay, I didn't. Okay, but it probably would be the responsible thing as a customer to say that, hey, this shipped out with a dead battery, or the battery was dead upon opening, just so that they could be aware of it as what I will call it a QC issue. So that being said, here's the second one. I did lower the dimness just a tad so you can see it easier too. So there you go. All right, so that being said, we can go ahead and get to our mounting process. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut on that end, and then see how it looks on the MFPs over here. Yes, it'll be going on this one over here, which is my compact slide on the full-size grip, and the opposite one, my compact grip on the full-size slide. So, talk soon. Okay, if only you knew how long I was taking on this. So, I don't need to apologize since it's a cut, but I'm going to apologize anyway because I took my time. So, besides realizing I needed to make some witness marks before, we got everything mounted and taken care of. The thing I will say for that dead battery replacement, I did go ahead and get both of my products registered with Holosun and then sent in the warranty claim and clarified that it was just about the battery, not that the optic needs to go back. And so far, everything is cool as far as that goes. That also being said, I will give plus notes on how robust this multi-tool is. It's pretty good. It fits well within the screws and, just the screws in general. I was thinking of the side plate. But one thing I will say, it did get marred. I won't say like it got marred super easy. Well, since it's the first application, maybe I should say it. So something to watch out for. It still looks intact, but it is marred. So kind of have to give it a knock for that. With that being said, it shouldn't be an issue since the battery's life for Holosun is usually pretty good, 40,000 hours. But we'll see that as it goes. And of course, as usual, I'll provide any type of update if I need to replace it often or something to that effect. Now, that being said, I did plan on grabbing one of my Swamp Fox optics. So just excuse me real quick on that. Okay, and I will grab the newest version here for that. So let me try to make some room over here. Got quite a bit going on. So, okay, so to stay on track, let's go ahead and take a look here at the Holosun and how it sits. So again, I did have this on its K footprint. So far it looks good. Everything's pretty even, and let you see the reticle again, as it's easy to see from here, even with all the natural light going on. And then, of course, you got this side over here. And let you get a little bit of the front there. And there you go. All right. So that being said, my impression, let's say, between the three various types that I'm running so far, I'd probably say the material still feels better on the Holosun, even compared to the Vortex, which is pretty good. The Vortex has more going on when it comes to like its clarity as far as what it is, what adjusts, where it adjusts. Like the overall layout of the Vortex Defender CCW to me is more thought out, more superior. Even when it comes to its hood, the fact that it even comes with a hood, that's a big knock on the Holosun for the price that it's at compared to the Vortex and the Swamp Fox. The fact that it doesn't have a hood is kind of egregious. That being said, it's not a super big deal since I have an extra Holosun, one that fits relatively okay. It's not perfect, but it'll do whenever it's not in use. But that being said, for the money, for the price, it should come with one. It's on a different price tier where I'm finding the Swamp Fox here at the 100 area, the Defender, the Vortex in the $200 area, and the Holosuns are usually well into the low 300s, but that's a caveat between all three. All three you could find on sale in some way, shape, or form. So here's the Swamp Fox here. And keep in mind, this is a Gen 2. I do have a Gen 1, but I did get the Gen 2 on this one just for its backup irons over here in the front end. So that being said, as far as like design goes, there's a lot going on with the Holosun. The Swamp Fox over here for the money. The Defender also has a lot going on for its relative price set. The top mounted battery, the recessed inward controls. Again, just the design on the Vortex is something else to me. But if you're looking for top materials, I would say, like the best you could get as far as material quality on the housing, I think the Holosun stands above the rest. And even for its, let's say, its backup irons, the fact that they have this kind of technology with the ACSS doesn't make it so that usually when I'm pointing, like with my other three MOA dots, which is effectively all of them on my pistols now, I usually have to use my backups if I can't see the reticle immediately. I usually will line up my backups and then bring it down to get to the dot. One exception is on my, actually, I said it before Glock earlier, but it's actually my PSA upper, because that one actually has a cut. So it actually co-witnesses. So as soon as you line up your sights, your irons, you get the dot. So that's one thing to keep in mind for co-witnessing, is that it's easy to pick up your dot that way. But if you're using plates like I do, or dovetail mounts, I should say, in this case with the ACSS, I don't need to wait for the lineup. I already see where the line is for the 230 MOA, and I just find the dot immediately after that. So that's just intuitive. I don't think it's quite as much training wheel esque as, I will say that what feels more training wheel at this point to me, at least in my personal journey, is a 6 MOA dot. Even though you can play with the brightness settings, a 6 MOA dot feels like too much of a crutch, especially once you get into more target driven drills, kind of like your bill drills. Your eye box hits are really crucial, that you really want to not zoom in, but really lock in on those. And I feel like it's easier to get that way, or more precisely to get to there, when you have a 3 MOA or a 2 MOA dot. One might be pushing it. Not for me, at least not yet. But two, excellent, especially on rifles. Three, excellent for pistols, at least just in my example, or in my personal opinion, or in my experiences going forward. So I will say this ACSS is really good technology. I enjoy it already on its pointability, and just leaning on the dot and not so much on the irons to line up. At least that's the way it feels to me. That's something that will get constant use. And in the worst case scenario, if you needed to use it in a self-defense method and you don't have good presentation, like you don't get to use both of your hands, or there's some limiting factor, like even yourself, when it comes to performance, that will make the job easier, and that's why I chose it. Again, not something I would insist on saying like every single one of my pistols. At least I believe right now I have 6 that are red dot equipped at the moment, that I would switch all of them to that. Not that it's a bad thing, I just don't insist on it, but that's me. So 2 out of 6, good enough for me right now. The other ones, like again, what I said before, what I have here for the Vortex, I mean, just the natural pointability of my 226, I find a dot. Like, I present, I find a dot. Present, dot. Like, I naturally just line it up here. And see, I can do it for myself, but not necessarily for you. And there it is there. Sorry, might have had it before, but this is why I wear glasses. But again, from my point of view, it's just super easy to just point, present, and it's there. And it doesn't take too much angle on the Vortex to get to it. I will say that it's something that I've often seen with my Swap Fox optics on Gen 1 and 2, that it takes a little bit more of an angle to get to the dot. Not bad. It's just maybe the way that it points as far as the glass goes. That again, usually I have to line up my irons and then come down a little bit, then the dot will show up. And maybe it will be that way over here, where I line it up first and then you see it just pointed right there. So usually there's more of a difference there once I'm lining up the irons versus getting the dot. And that may be due to the angle of the glass, is basically what I'm trying to say, is that that's a little bit of a getting used to when it comes to the Swap Fox. But I will say that as far as me looking into it, the glass clarity, while still decent as far as what I'm concerned, and trying to give it a fair shake here compared to the other dots now, that the clarity is good enough, maybe, but I think there is a difference here with the Defender that is a bit sharper. But again, the Defender also has that issue where at the bottom, the last 10 to 15% of the glass, the reticle disappears. Let's see if I can duplicate it here. So it should still be visible there, but it will disappear in the glass. That's something that happens with the Defender. So not ideal, but it's, you may call it a design flaw, but I accept it. With that being said, in comparison, the Holosun is just a different level with the reticle. Again, I'm a fan of the 32 MOA dot only, but in the case of what I prefer to do for pistol shooting, which is, again, zoning in on eye box precision type shooting at this point for me, I feel like, and especially when it comes to rapid firing, this is going to be more of a best friend to play in that application. And again, even though the overall design doesn't seem like it's that much better or intuitive, or let's say thought out as the Vortex Defender, I still feel like this has the best glass quality. And so far, at least from what I could tell, let's see how it looks. Yeah, wipes off easy too. And the best reticle technology. Holosun for the reticle technology. The Defender for your best value. And as far as your budget option, if you want to go to Swap Fox, I recommend it. I would take the Defender over the Swap Fox as it stands right now. The top mounted battery, the superior glass quality, I feel. And even though with the caveat of the viewing angle that happens with the MOA dot, I still feel like the overall design of the Defender is cleaner and worth the additional money, especially that it comes with the extra screws. The tool is super robust. Even though Swamp Fox has those things, They just feel like at a higher quality that's worth the price. That splits the difference as well between SwapFox and Holosun. Even though, again, the Holosun is probably what I consider to be the best in the market if you're looking for the best reticle. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to clean all my crap up. Hit me up if you have any questions. Thanks for your time. Have a good one. Later.